We are here today in honor of Iranian refugees and in recognition of the trauma and struggles they endure. But we would be remiss to appear before you without raising a central issue: gender apartheid. Apartheid standards in international law were designed to address racial apartheid. Today, the components of systemic subjugation that make up apartheid are present in Iran, having substituted gender for race. The situation in the Islamic Republic of Iran is not a simple one of gender discrimination. In Iran, women are banned from many fields of study, from sporting events, and from obtaining a passport and traveling outside the country without their husband's permission. Women's lives and their testimony are worth half of a man in court. Women cannot be judges. Women are forced to wear the compulsory hijab. These bans and the broader systems they belong to seek to establish and maintain women's subjugation vis-à-vis men and the state. Violation of these laws can lead to horrific torture, imprisonment, and death. Gender apartheid, women's rights, human rights, and refugee issues are interwoven when it comes to Iran. A state dedicated to preserving gender apartheid has little appetite left to serve as a safe refuge for outsiders. Iran's endemic humanitarian and refugee crisis is a consequence of a government whose priority is enforcing gender apartheid rather than providing support to refugees. The repressive policies of gender apartheid keep vast swaths of the Iranian regime and the resources of the Iranian people occupied with the subjugation of women. As the regime spent more and more over the years to maintain its repressive system, governance was replaced with corruption. For exposing this truth through his lyrics, Tumaj Sadihi languishes in prison. Instead of waging an open war on women, the Islamic regime has mastered the misuse of governance to its extreme. This mastery of misuse extends to the highest international bodies. The same regime that imposes gender apartheid was once welcomed as the chair of the UN Commission on the Status of Women. A regime that denies health insurance to more than half of its Afghan refugees and tortures its political prisoners is a full-fledged welcome member of the World Health Organization. And although Afghan refugees in Iran are restricted in their movements, are unable to own their own businesses, and do not have a path to citizenship, nevertheless, the regime is here today in Geneva for the Global Refugee Forum. Today, the international legal community increasingly recognizes the distinct status of gender apartheid and supports the evolution of law to keep pace with the crimes of tyrants. By the same token, serious efforts must be made to disengage from the Islamic regime's gamesmanship. International bodies should not serve as a legitimizing platform for oppressive regimes. Racial apartheid in South Africa eventually came to an end, in part because of decades of outside pressure and a severing of diplomatic and economic relations. Today, we are asking for that same degree of international outrage and pressure in honor of Jina Mahsa Amini, in honor of Mohsen Shekhari, in honor of child bride Samira Sabzian, who awaits execution at any moment, and in honor of all of the men and women who have come before, between, and after. As a global community, as leaders of nations, the Iranian diaspora calls upon you to be on the front lines of the worldwide campaign to end gender apartheid. A first and important step in this direction is to extend the definition of apartheid to include gender. Collectively, we urge all member states of the United Nations to take a firm stance against gender apartheid and to continue to invest in all of the moral, political, and economic and legal tools available to support the woman life freedom movement. We look forward to an Iran where refugees can thrive without impediments, and where political dissidents write articles in newspapers instead of fleeing the country with visible and hidden wounds. This Iran does exist. It is just beneath the surface, and we all know it. Together, we can achieve it. Thank you.